Oh yes, indeed. It might just be time to make that call. It's not Friday. It's Monday.
Oh, it would be nice if it was Friday.
Oh no, it is Monday. Okay, December the 1st. A festive season is officially unlocked, Casper. But just before you swipe those cards, and we bring you another edition of Money Matters, brought to you by DCGsa, that's Debt Counseling Group South Africa. And as always, Casper Lagrange is here in studio, one of South Africa's leading debt counselors, NCS registered since 2010, and Debt Counselors Association NEC member. Ooh, is that new? Okay.
No.
And today, this one is a wake-up call. The repo rate has paused, but don't get excited just yet. There's more to the story. Casper's got more. Welcome, Casper. How are you doing, man?
Mr. K, well, almost I got excited. It was Friday, but then you changed the date again, and I see we're back on Monday. So long week, but I know why you thought that, because the 1st of December, you in holiday spirit. It feels like a weekend. Actually, it's just December. Yes, so I want everyone to listen closely today, because today's conversation can literally change the direct trajectory of your financial life.
Okay, let's find out more. So, Casper, we saw the news, right? The repo rate didn't go up, yay. And many are saying, phew, we're safe. Are we, though? Are we really?
Oh, well, the repo rate pause, well, it's a drop with 25 basis points, 0.25, but
yeah,
it still is giving South Africans false sense of hope, because remember, it took us 2 years to get where we are. And after a year, we're not even halfway back at where we started off when they started increasing it. So, and on top of that, debt doesn't just disappear because the Reserve Bank didn't increase rates. If you're already maxed out, and I think that's where many South Africans are sitting.
Yeah.
If you're using your full salary just to survive, if your card declines, a repo rate pause or a little reduction of 0.25, you already overextended.
Yeah.
And it simply gives you a window, a little financial window, to take action before things really escalate again. And, the petrol price is knocking again for whatever reason we can't explain. But it's all these things that impact us. Yes, inflation wasn't that bad, but if you look at the inflation just on meat, especially walking into December at almost 11%, it's going to hit us. And we as South Africans, we love our meat.
We absolutely do, Casper. Now, Casper, you've been telling me off air that this actually makes sense. Now, the best time to that now is the best time to rather enter debt review. Why would now be the best time to enter debt review?
Mr. K, it's actually very, very simple. And here's what most South Africans don't understand. Vehicle and bond finance has its limits. Interest can only be reduced a little under debt review. But that little makes a massive difference. If you're jumping up and down because the interest rate went down with 25 basis points. So when the repo rate's also stable like this, or a little bit lower, then we can negotiate better rates.
Yep.
And people don't understand. We get so much better outcomes on your car, on your house, and we can protect your vehicle in your home. And on top of that, your unsecured debt, we can get as low sometimes as 0%. So imagine now you're sitting at home, you've got that 21% interest rate credit card, or maybe you've got a better interest rate. Maybe it's sitting at 15 or maybe at 13%. And you were jumping up and down because 0.25% will be reduced. Imagine reducing it all the way down to 0. How much of a relief would that be? Now, imagine that credit card that you are paying and it's not actually even moving anywhere. In fact, Your installment just goes off. You don't even use it, but it feels like it's increasing. Now, what if tomorrow you do have that payment, but that full payment actually reduces the capital balance? It comes down. The same with personal loans. You know, we've seen some people having massive personal loans. I saw the other one again, 550,000 Rand personal loan, credit card of 320,000 Rand. And this is honestly what the increases in the interest rate did over that time, but it's not going down as quickly as it went up. And now people need to recover. So that is why debt review isn't a punishment. In fact, it's actually one step closer towards a different path, a path that can bring stability, peace, dignity, and a future. Debt review is not a punishment. It's not shameful. It's literally legal rehabilitation tool that is created to give you your life back. So if you were jumping up and down about 0.25% reduction in interest rate, imagine a 13 or 20% reduction. Imagine how much less you are going into December, actually giving yourself a financial break and dignity and money back in your pocket to actually buy that meat for Christmas.
Goodness me. Now, Casper, that is absolutely amazing, man. And you normally think it's, the lower income households that have the most debt. But is that really the case, though?
Definitely not, Mr. K. We've seen it over the last little while, and it's becoming more and more so. The higher end guys are the ones that are currently suffering. We see it with the credit bureau data. It's the middle class, the high end, and it's actually because of our laws and things that's been stagnant. We've got all of this bare minimum wage things coming out, but what about the middle class? What about the high end consumer? The National Credit Act hasn't been revised. So if you look at some of the regulations in the Act, a family of 4 per individual needs to live on less than what a bare minimum wage person is living on if they earn 25,000 Rand or more.
Yeah.
And, in the Eastern Cape, it's so much worse because we don't feed 4 mouths with one salary. The average Eastern Cape resident feeds 6 mouths per salary. So the impact of that is you need to now suddenly live like a pauper, and they've given you credit up until those limits because they only prepared that you're living on bread and water, and sometimes not even bread. I don't know what you live on, but if you look at the price sometimes of bread. So it does have a major impact. And we need to look after the middle and the high end consumer. And debt review is really the way to do it. If you look at a client that comes in and you look at their loans and you look at all of that, paying 23,600 Rand when they're only having 25,500 Rand income, just towards credit cards, loans, they bond their vehicle. So with that is what the Act allows. So with that 1,900 Rand left, they must pay a rent or they've got a bond. So they must pay for groceries, school fees, all of that for a family of 4. And in the Eastern Cape, a family of 6. It is not doable. And then in this scenario, we've actually reduced the total debt payments from that 23,600 down to 13,986 Rand and 90 cents. And we got the unsecured debt down to 0% interest. So a full almost 10,000 Rand back in their pocket to survive. Isn't that amazing? They could actually go buy fuel, have groceries, and hopefully plan a bit better after getting a proper budget.
Fantastic stuff, man. So, Casper, we speak about lower income households. And you mentioned earlier that even the higher and middle income households are impacted as well. But then I want you to speak directly to the people to whom this message goes to. Okay, because I feel like that way it'll be, a bit more impactful as well. And look, it'll certainly or hopefully jolt somebody back into action as well.
Yeah, Mr. K, I think the consumers who are high income earners and low income earners, debt doesn't really discriminate.
Yeah.
It doesn't pick who has the worst debt. And let me speak directly to those people who know this message is for them. You're sitting there in your office, or you're sitting in the car, and you're listening to this, and you say, "Wow, that's me. All my money just goes to debt, and then I just make another loan or I take another credit card, and now it's Christmas and the family is coming. I don't know what to do." So, and we're seeing it more and more. People's credit cards are maxed out. They can't even use it anymore. In fact, they don't only have one credit card. You've got 2 or 3 credit cards. Then I know, I understand. I see this daily. You cannot qualify for even a small loan from your own bank. We're seeing everyday debit orders. It feels like a hammer into the chest. It's just another one. Which one is not going to bounce? I don't know. You're worried about your car that might be repossessed. I mean, just this morning we had 5 messages. The bank called me on Friday. We don't know what to do. We need help. They're going to come and take our car. I couldn't pay it end of the month.
Yeah.
And you're scared to answer unknown numbers. Isn't that the biggest thing? You see your phone ringing and you go in full-blown anxiety. You don't know what to answer, who to answer, how to answer. Or you borrowing to cover groceries. I mean, that is a big one we saw last week. That was one of the most scariest one. We were still waiting for the Black Friday numbers. We'll probably see it earlier or a bit later in the week, maybe early next week. But I'm going to put my head on a block and say people went for Black Friday deals for groceries. It's not always luxury items. Yes, there will be the 1 or 2, but people are literally borrowing to pay groceries.
Absolutely.
And you know what? You cannot live like this for another year. You cannot go in. And unfortunately, we see a lot of people commit suicide. People doing self-harm during this period because that stress on them, family coming over when it's supposed to be a time for love and peace and all of that. You really deserve better. You don't deserve all of that stress. So ask yourself, do you really want to live another year like this? Stressed, panicking, barely coping, wondering where money for food will come from for next week? Or do you want to think, I wonder, must I buy the small gammon, the medium gammon, or the big gammon for Christmas? So that's literally where our consumers are at this point, and we understand. So don't wait. And I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. You one step away today towards a different path, a path that can bring stability, it can bring peace, dignity, and it can bring a future. Debt review is really not a punishment. It's not shameful, and it's a legal process set out in the Act to protect you as a consumer that you can use as a financial tool to get your life and your finances back. And we see it daily.
And of course, you don't have to decide today if you want debt review, but you can decide to get the free assessment, which you do offer, of course.
Yes, Mr. Kane, and I think that's the important part. Any step is first to fix your budget. Maybe you don't even need our services. Maybe you're not there yet, but there's many people that need it, and we don't sell debt review. That's something you can use as a financial tool. Yes, but we do an assessment. We do a full financial assessment. We pull those credit checks, get all of that information that you're scared of people phoning, you don't even know where which account is. We help you figure that out. We help you figure out your budget. We help you figure out where the money is going. And many people don't know where their money is going. And I mean, one of the questions we normally ask is how much you spend on groceries. Majority of people can't tell me how much exactly they spend on groceries, but school fees, they can give me on the cent.
Yep.
Transport on the cent. But comes to groceries, you know what we buy when there's money. And sometimes that is the worst thing if you start buying daily. So we do that assessment. It's completely free. It's confidential. And you know what? It's a roadmap to get yourself out of debt. So give us a shout. Give us a call. Naturally, you can call us on, what is that number again, Mr. K? I wonder if you can remember it. I never put you on the spot anymore.
Don't you worry, I got you, Casper. 086 100 1047. That's 086 100 1047. Of course, you can also email help@dcgsa.co.za, or you could send a WhatsApp 061 432 8499. That's 061 432 8499.
And remember, your future is not decided by your past. It's decided by what you do today.
That is so true, Casper. Now, it's time for that financial scripture of the week.
Proverbs, my favorite again, 14 verse 15. The simple believe anything, but the prudent give thought to their steps. The simple believe anything, but the prudent give thought to their steps. So don't let the repo rate pause fool you into thinking everything is okay. Be prudent, take a step, start your recovery.
Fantastic stuff, Casper. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you coming through. And of course, DCGsa is waiting to help you. Go ahead and do the free assessment. Your comeback starts today. You can also WhatsApp me here in studio if you'd like for me to share the contact information. Of course, it will be 100% confidential, no judgment. Or you can find them on social media. Look at this. D for Delta, C for Charlie, G for Golf, and SA for South Africa. That is so cute. I love it. That's DCGsa. Casper, have yourself a fantastic week, man.
We can't do the same thing over and over and expect something to change. So be the change. Be that change that you want to see. Mr. K, till next time. To you and the listeners, have a blessed one.